Welcome back, guys. um, as I was trying to install Arch um, from scratch, I, in one of my videos, Oberon, who is on the support team at Manjaro, he suggested that I could, if I wanted to do a bare bones install, I could do the Manjaro Net Edition. So I took a look at it, and basically the Net Edition, there hasn't been too much said about the Net Edition. I guess their regular packages are so well done that I guess not too many people go for the Net Edition. But basically, it says it provides a base installation without a pre-installed display manager, desktop environment, or any desktop software applications. It allows you to build your own version of Manjaro from the ground up. So that seemed to me to be the best of both worlds. You got the assistance from Manjaro in the basic install, so you were able to take advantage of some of the things they do to make that Arch install go a little bit easier. And also, you're able to configure the system exactly the way you want. So I burned a copy of the ISO to my USB, and I booted up, and I went through the install. The install is similar to the Arch install. However, it is a little bit less complex. And so I didn't have any trouble installing it at all. It's pretty self-explanatory as you move through the various steps. However, the partitioning, as always, is the tricky part. So they make it easier if you have a whole disk to allocate. Now, I did have a whole disk to allocate, but I actually pre-partitioned the disk. I created a swap, an ext4 partition from my root, and a UEFI boot partition formatted to FAT32. So I went through the install, and now this particular computer already has a Manjaro, uh, the XFCE, already has the Manjaro XFC install on another disk. So what I did is I installed the Net Edition on another disk, on my blank disk, which I had already pre-partitioned, and when I booted, it went to the Manjaro install that already existed. What I did was when I booted into the existing XFCE Manjaro install, I ran a program called OS-Prober, and so I'll show you that. But basically, you run it. You have to install it first. So it would be sudo pacman OS prober. Okay, and so I'm gonna install it just to, on this particular. Okay, so oh, it was already there. So it looks like it may come with the Manjaro install. So once you have OS prober, all you have to do is run it. Now what happens is OS prober goes through your system, and it'll find any other operating system. So what it's telling me is I have Manjaro Linux, Peppermint 6, and of course, since you're already in the Manjaro-Net, since I'm already in the Manjaro-Net install, it doesn't list that one. But basically, it's telling me that I have the operating system that I'm booted to and two others. Now, if I were to run sudo update grub, which I'm not going to, basically it would update the grub file so that next time I boot, this net install would be the default. That would be listed at the top of the grub screen, and the other two would be listed as number 2 and number 3. So I'm not going to do that right now because I want to leave it the way it is. But that's how you would do that. It's pretty easy, but not too many people, I think, are comfortable doing it. But just remember OS prober followed by update grub, and that can reconfigure your grub file just the way you want it. So you run it in the install that you want to be as the default. That would be the top one listed on your grub screen. So I'm going to get away from that right now. That's a little bit of a side light here. But I went through the net install, and I'll tell you that I'm not sure it's because of my system, but I installed the system a few times, went through the install perfectly, but when I booted to the new installed system, I was not able to connect to the internet. So my Ethernet and my Wi-Fi were not configured. So I had to go through some procedures that I researched online, and I was able to get my Ethernet up and running. And basically, just had to go in and reconfigure a couple things. And if you need some information, if you have that issue and you need some information from me on that, just put a comment in, because I can go back. It'll take some time, but I'll go back and tell you exactly what I did. So I finished that, and then I had Ethernet access. So I did an install on my Wi-Fi, and I basically ran IP link. And so if you run IP link, it shows you all of your internet interfaces, whether they be wired or wireless. Now this is my ENP3S0 is my wired, that's my Ethernet, and this is my wireless WLP1S0. You see where it says up and up, okay, and this says up and up? They were down, and all you have to do is you put in a command to set the interface in the up state, and that will help you get connected to it. So again, if you have any issues there, that would be another video in itself to go through that debugging, but if you have any issues there, let me know. Then once I had all my network showing and my Ethernet, I was connected to the Ethernet, but it wouldn't let me connect to any of my wireless networks. When I clicked on it, I had no window opening to enter the password. And so, excuse me, and so that I needed some help with. And so I went on to the Manjaro forum, into the newbie section, and I basically posted a question, and let's see, is that the one? No, that was my original, no Wi-Fi or internet. Let me get to the question that I had towards the end, and that was, let's see, Oh no, that was it. I'm sorry. It was just down the end. So I came back and said, um, once I had Ethernet and Wi-Fi up, I couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi network because it wouldn't let me enter the password. And through some help from Oberon, who's always a lot of help, he's on the support team. He mentioned, do you have PolKit running and is GNOME keyring activated? Well, PolKit was running, so I didn't mess with that. And then I checked based on 10480, asked about WP a supplicant. I had that, and basically it turned out that I didn't have GNOME keyring. So I got a message from, let's see, 10480, and he said, Polkit should be running. What about GNOME keyring? Did you check that one? From the wiki, it sounds heavily in favor of your problem. I didn't see that on the wiki, but that was exactly it. So I replied that I installed GNOME keyring, and bingo, my problem was solved. So that puts me at the install here. This is basically what you see right out of the box. I installed my window manager as LXDM, and I installed XFCE as my desktop manager. Now, this is exactly what you'll see when you boot into the net install for the first time. Now, you may elect to go with a different desktop manager. You're free to choose whatever it is you'd like. Let me show you. Let me show you what you have a choice of. So if you go into the wiki, login screens, display managers, you have a choice of MDM. Now some of these pair up with other desktop environments better than other desktop environments. The default display manager for XFCE is MDM. Well, I installed LXDM, and basically all the instructions to install the desktop manager is the window manager is here. So if you go through the display manager section of the wiki and then go back to the desktop environments, you'll see all of the desktop environments that you could install. And I selected XFCE because that's pretty much my favorite, but you have the option of adding any of these. And so I might add one more before I finish this video, just so we can go through the process. But so once you do that and you select your window manager and your desktop manager, then you have your desktop. And that's where I am now. I haven't done anything to this install. It's bare bones, except I did install GUVC View, Kazam, which isn't running properly for some reason, so I'm using Simple Screen Recorder. And the Kazam, I'm sure, is just a codec. I'll find out what that is. But everything else is running when I installed VLC Media Player. So everything's running fine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through what I normally do to get an install up to running the way that I like it. Okay, so this will be fairly quick because I don't do a whole lot to it, but I do install some programs. So the first thing I do is, because I only use one desktop, I'm going to remove the switcher. Now I could add that back later if I wanted to. Okay, and I'm being told the system is up to date. And so I have a USB stick that I keep all of my files that I need when I install a new distribution. And it's all of the common things that I need that are not always easy to find online. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can install P-Sensor. I had an issue with it before, so I always like to install P-Sensor. Let's see if we can. I ran into a problem with it before. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it takes a little while to install. Now what I usually do is I install P-Sensor. Okay, it looks like it installed. So that's the first thing I usually install. Now I've got some Pac-Man programs, and what I usually install: Redshift, Clip It, Geary, Banshee, Kodi, G-Thumb, Nomax, OpenShot. Okay, so now it's going to take care of all of the other programs that I usually install. So the only one I was not able to get is Caffeine, which I will figure out why. Now, one of the things that I already did, and you see I switched desktops by mistake with my mouse wheel, but one of the things I already did is install my printer. And so if I go into print settings, you'll see that I already have my Brother printer set up, and I showed you how to do that in one of my other videos. But if you need some help with that, I'll be happy to help you with that. So now all of these are installed, and I'm going to close that out. Now let's see. I'm going to see if I can my USB drive isn't mounting for some reason. Let's see if I can find out why. No. Okay, I'm going to pause the video to see if I can figure out why this USB drive isn't mounting. And I'll be right back with you guys, okay? Okay, welcome back, guys. Well, I've solved that one pretty quickly. Basically, all you need to do is go into your file manager. In this case, it's Thunar. Click on Edit, click on Preferences, and go over to Advanced. Enable Volume Management, but also click on Configure. And that will allow you to configure how each of the drives mount. Mount removable drives when hot plugged, when inserted, browse removable media when inserted. So I configured the preferences, and then I logged out, logged back in, and as you can see, everything is there. And so now my 32-bit 32 gig drive, my USB drive, is mounted and accessible, as are all of the other hard drives. They're all storage devices. They're all on the desktop. Some are not mounted yet, as you can see, but they're all there. Okay, so next step is my Konky. So I'm going to go into accessories and go into Konky Manager. First thing I'm going to do is go into settings, tell it to run at startup. I'm going to do a startup delay of 10 seconds. Okay. So then I'm going to go in and I'm going to say import theme pack. Well, on my 32 gig drive, I have the theme pack. So now that's imported successfully. Now I also have a Konky there, but I can't do anything with it until I copy it to the Konky folder. So for that I need home, and let's see, I think I need hidden files. And once I go to Len, you go to your home folder, there's Konky. If I click on that, those are all the Konkys that come with Konky Manager. So if I go back into my 32 gig in Linux and copy my Konky, then I can paste it in. Now when I restart Konky Manager, it is listed there. I'll put a check mark and you can see it shows up. And so I'm going to edit, let's see, top right. I'm going to make it completely transparent, close, and I've got my Konky. So it's as easy as that, setting up the Konky. Now for Redshift, in accessories, head down, click on Redshift. You can see it activates in your system tray. I usually click on auto start, and that's good to go. Very easy. My clipboard manager, clip it, is there. I've got in my multimedia, I've got Kodi, Banshee. In my graphics, I've got G-Thumb and Nomax. Now, Nomax is an interesting program that I knew very little about, and you don't hear too much about it. But it's basically an image viewer that is pretty neat. Now, I don't have any images to view, but you might want to take a look at Nomax. It is a pretty nice image viewer, very plain, lightweight. Might be worth taking a look at that. It's Nomacs. Okay, so as far as the appearance goes, I'm not crazy about the appearance as it comes out of the box. So what I'm going to do, there's a theme that I like. It's on my disk drive, and I'm going to. The first thing I have to do, in order to copy themes to the themes folder, you have to be opening the file as root. So if I sign in as root and I open Thunar and I go to File System, User, Share, and Themes, let's see, Themes. Okay, you can see all the themes that are listed. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my 32 gig and I'm going to copy this particular theme. And it's called Shimmer Project Graybird. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there and close out. Then I'm going to go into Appearance, and it should be there. There it is, Shimmer Project. Now it does a couple things for me. It is a darker theme, as you can see. I like the look of the panel, but it also takes the balloons away from the desktop icons. Now, for icons, I installed Fienza. Now, if you want to install Fienza, it doesn't come with it, but if you type in sudo pacman/s Fienza icon theme, and it is available. So just install that and you'll have the Fienza icons. Now the default is GNOME, but I go with Fienza Darkest, and that's what I prefer. Okay? And that's all I'm going to change right now, except for my desktop wallpaper, which on my 32 gig drive, I'm going to copy over all of the desktop wallpapers that I like. Copy. And then I'm going to go to Len, and I'm going to go to Pictures and paste. Now if I go back, just want to show you this, guys. Just a little personal note. This is my little dog, Molly. She just passed away. And so I have her pictures. We had her for 15 years. And she got cancer, and she passed away actually 2 weeks ago. So we miss her, and that's why I have the pictures on in my folder. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that in. I miss my little Molly. But anyway, if I right click on the desktop and I go into desktop settings, I'm gonna add, see, there are some Manjaro backgrounds that are really nice too. That come under backgrounds. If you look, there's the XFCE, which they're pretty nice, but nothing. And then there's the backgrounds, the Manjaro backgrounds, which you can see. I like those. Those are nice. But if I add the pictures folder, and then I have a lot of Arch Linux and Manjaro. So if I go into Manjaro, that looks a lot better. So that's basically what I do to get the install looking the way I like it. Now, actually, I don't like all the icons mounted on the desktop, so we're going to change that, but that's fine. I like the XFCE install comes with this bottom panel where you can add programs to it. So let's say, for example, and that's configured now for Chromium, but let's say, for example, that I want to add another program. I'll show you how easy it is to do that. Now, if I go into Internet, I've got my Geary mail. If I right click that, well, actually it didn't give me the option. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can drag it. May not be able to. No. That must be one of the ones that has a little bit of an issue. But let's say I go to multimedia and I want Banshee. It's not working too well either. Normally, let me try adding it to the desk. Well, actually, when you click on it, it's supposed to ask you if you want to add it to the desktop. And it's not letting me do that for some reason. It usually asks you if you want to add to the desktop or add to the panel. And so I'll figure that out once this video is done. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to add another desktop manager, desktop interface. This is XFCE, and I'm going to add another one. Now I don't have to add another display manager. LXDM will handle it. But let me show you how to do that. If I open my terminal, and let's go back to that page. Okay guys, this is the page that I was talking about. Now as you can see, it's got the install instructions. So if I look at LXDE, all it is sudo pacman-s LXDE. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll do all and yes. Okay. So now LXDE, if I reboot, LXDE will be available, and let's take a look at it. So I'm going to pause the video and we will be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, I have the LXDE desktop. Konky is there, and Geary is on the desktop. Menu, still have all the same applications, just a different desktop environment. As you can see, my system tray still has Redshift and Clipit, and my network manager is there. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to add another desktop environment, and you can experiment with that and just stay with the one that you like, or keep a couple of them on there. So that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just some of the things that I go through when I do a new install, and this happened to be a little bit of a debugging process also. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If not, just please rate, comment, or subscribe, and I will see you next time guys. Take care. Welcome back guys. I just wanted to do a little addendum to the video to show you how to add the programs to the panel. The reason I was not able to add those programs is because I was using the original XFCE menu, which doesn't have that right click feature. What I did was I moved that one over to the right, and I added the whisker menu on the left hand side. Now with the whisker menu, if you want to add Kodi, for example, if you right click it, you have an option: adding to favorites, adding to desktop, adding to panel. Now if I click add to panel, it's going to ask me which panel, since I have two. Normally this would be number 1, down the bottom is number 2. So if I select number 2 and click add, it just went down to the bottom on that panel, and it'll expand only as big as you need for the number of programs that you add. I'll do one more for you, and we'll see if we can wrap this up. So Banshee, right click, add to panel, select panel 2, there it is. Okay guys, so I just wanted to follow up and add that to this video As you can see, I'm back in my XFCE desktop, which I really enjoy. So that's all for now, guys. Take care. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day.